Hey there, Revere 311, former Marine infantryman, Revolutionary War reenactor, amateur history enthusiast, and I'm also a collector of antique flintlock firearms. This is going to be the introduction to my channel. First off, I want to thank you for being here. If you've been subscribed to me for a while, or if you aren't subscribed, or if this is the first time you ever watched my videos, thanks for giving me your time. Basically, I want you to know what the video is going to cover. So I don't have a channel introduction video, and this is something I can put together quite easily to let you or anyone that comes to this channel know what to expect on this channel. This channel is dedicated to American history. It's going to primarily focus on early American history, the Revolutionary War era, and I'm going to build on that with my time as a reenactor. I'll bring in some of my close friends for them to talk about things that they are experts in. I am in no way going to sell myself as an expert. I am just somebody that loves the history and I'm very passionate about it. So alongside the American Revolutionary War stuff, I also do early American firearms. As you can see behind me, I collect original and reproduction, mostly flintlock pieces from American history, and I make videos about that. If you want to know about the individual guns, I've done a series called Flintlock Friday I'm pretty proud of that covers from the French infantry musket, the model of 1803, the American Charleville, an original Hall rifle, and a model of 1816. So those guns are covered in that series. Moving forward, I guess that's my first question to you is what do you guys want to see more of on this channel? What do you like seeing? What are you interested in? Do you want to see more about my process of going through and collecting firearms, or do you want to see more Revolutionary War stuff? It's kind of funny because I thought the battles from the reenactments would be the thing that would take off, but it's really turned out to be the history of the guns and the reviews and the collecting that's actually done me the most benefit for this channel. This is obvious. This is not my primary job. I do this on the side as a complete hobby, but I really enjoy it. I don't know. It's really scratched an itch in my brain of something I enjoy doing. I want to thank the other YouTube channels out there, like Ethan from 11 Bang Bang, Garrett as well, and the other channels I've kind of worked with because these guys have done me a lot of favors by sending people over here. So if you came over here from there, thank you so much. That is the channel on the whole. What this channel is focusing on early American history. So that's what the channel is. So let's go over the history of the channel. Well, you'll see the first video I have is a video that dropped in 2011 when I came back from a combat deployment to Marjah, Afghanistan. And I guess I might as well just talk about that. So I spent 5 years in the Marine Corps infantry. I was in 0311. I did 3 deployments. One was a combat deployment, and the other two were where the Corps sent me. During my combat deployment, I carried the radio for the squad, and I was actually kind of nicknamed Combat Camera because I was always taking videos and I was always trying to record everything that was happening. It's been like a lifelong project obsession with me. It's like I like recording what's going on around me. I like taking photos. So that first video is a post-deployment moto video, and if anyone really kind of remembers those mid 2005-ish all the way through the mid 20 teens during the height of the wars in Afghanistan and Iraq, moto videos are some of the things I love to put on all the time and watch them. I still do it when I'm hanging out by myself, watching videos of all those deployments because it really captures history in a very visual and close-up way. One of the best recruiting videos ever produced was by 3-1 when they pushed into Fallujah in 2004. It gave you down and dirty what your job in the infantry would actually be. None of that pulling swords out of stones and fighting dragons and whatever. That never interested me about the Marine Corps. What interested me in the Marine Corps was how do you what is it when you get down and dirty? What do these guys do out there on these combat deployments? And moto videos did that. When I came back from Marjah, Afghanistan in 2011, I went off and made that video for my squad so we could capture all those memories and then just for the fun of it. So then the channel kind of just went into hiatus and I would just use it to upload videos of like mostly me and my Marine buddies shooting. And then about a year ago, I started making videos for a good friend of mine that works in a museum for all my latest antique purchase acquisitions. I always talk to him on Facebook. And I'm like, hey, this is what I purchased. Like, look at this. Look at the stamping on this. Let's break down this gun. And it was too much to text, and Facebook doesn't let you really upload that many gigabytes of footage. You would have to keep to like 60-second increments or something like that. So to make it simpler, I was like, I'll just record me kind of going over the gun to send to you as a specific friend. And I just uploaded it to YouTube to save space on as an easier way for me to show a good friend of mine my recent historical purchases. And that's kind of how that part of the channel kind of took off on its own. And now that is kind of turned out to be a pretty big part of the channel, which I do enjoy because I do enjoy talking about them. They just require a little bit more work because, I want to make sure I'm getting the good information out to you. Another thing, if you see something you disagree with, something that you don't think is right, please leave a comment down below. I have no problem being corrected. I'm One of the best comments I've ever received on this channel is that someone said, "You seem like you're figuring it out as you go along." And that's pretty true. I do this out of passion and fun, and I want you to come to this channel. I want you to have fun while you're learning. But at the same time, I want you to also realize that I'm also there with you as I learn along. I am happy to learn alongside you guys. All right, let's talk about the Marine Corps. I joined the Marine Corps a couple weeks after I turned 18. I went to infantry school. I became an 0311, and then I was sent out to 2nd Battalion, 3rd Marines out in Hawaii. I spent 3 deployments in 1st Platoon, 3rd Squad, Fox Company, 2nd Battalion, 3rd Marines. I'm very proud to talk about my time there because it was a squad that's very close to my heart. And if for anyone that's ever been in the military, you probably find that kind of weird that you spend all 3 deployments in the same squad. But I had the privilege and fortunate experience to actually start my time there as a rifleman. I became a radio telephone operator. At one point, I was the squad leader, and then when I finished out as a team leader. During my time in the Marine Corps, I actually it's you get the good with the bad. Like, what does the Marine Corps do for you? Well, the Marine Corps teaches you how to grow up pretty quick. And if you're ever thinking about joining the infantry, I would say if you want to do it, do it. I don't regret my time in the infantry. Are you gonna moan and complain during it? Of course you are, but that is all part of the experience. Is it a fun time? There's probably a reason why I got out because it's a hard life that you're living. But I did my 3 deployments in the infantry, and my first deployment was that combat deployment to Afghanistan, and that's kind of what I want to branch off about. So I did not see crazy combat at all. I got in a couple firefights, but most of our time was spent actually taking away the enemy's ability to fight. We showed up in Marjah, Afghanistan in December of 2011. No, December of 2010. And if you know your Marine Corps history, one battalion, one 6 and 3-6 had pushed into Marjah in February of 2010. They were replaced by 2-6 and 2-9. We, as 2nd Battalion, 3rd Marines, actually got detached and attached to 2nd Battalion, 9th Marines at the end of their combat deployment. So by that time, it had almost been about 8-9 months of heavy combat in Marjah, and they had basically worn the fighting capabilities of the Taliban down. The Taliban, when it got to those colder months, would actually cache their weapons. They would bury them in the ground, their munitions, and they would head off. They would take R&R over there in Pakistan and hang out for the winter months. And while they were away is when we really got to work. We would go around and using metal detectors, we were able to sniff out the caches in the ground. We would collect AKs, RPGs, and some really interesting historical pieces like early milled AK-47s that were made in 1954, if I remember correctly. And then you had some, I think it's a VC-26, like a Czech gun. You had like stuff from PPSHs, stuff from M1 Grands, just random miscellaneous stuff that was all in Afghanistan. So that was our time in Afghanistan. Like I said, I can talk about this more later if you want, but that is kind of covers that. So overall, that is just a general overview of what this channel is. After my time, we came back from Afghanistan. I then became a shooting instructor and a shooting coach. 0931, 0933, if anyone knows those Marine MOSs. And I did the next couple deployments and I got out, and the rest is history. But that covers my time in the Marine Corps. I started reenacting in 2021. I went to one event with a full-on beard, and I was invited out the next day. I was invited out the next day. I could carry a musket and shoot it, and I would get outfitted. I decided to shave the beard, so I shaved the beard, which is why I'm going with this baby face thing I got having it is for reenacting. Shave your beards if you're going to reenact. So I've been reenacting now coming up on 3 years. So if you see me at events, please don't hesitate. Come out, hang out, talk to me. It's a good time. We can talk all about the history. And yeah, so like I've just been passionate about history ever since I was a child, and that's basically what this channel is. This channel is for us to learn together. How hippie is that? But it is true. I enjoy learning alongside you guys, and like I said, if there's anything you want to see more, let me know, and I'll see if I can make it happen. I have kind of my goals with the channel moving forward is obviously I keep alongside the reenacting stuff, learning more about the daily, like just the individual soldier's life, like what kind of gear they carried, how I can kind of tie that into the modern infantry, collecting antique firearms. I do want to kind of go alongside and make more videos on how to help you guys if you're interested in collecting originals. You've seen I bought a reconversion of a flintlock, which cost me about $1,300. I shouldn't have spent, and I want to see if I can stop you from making those mistakes that I have made personally when collecting. But that is an introduction. So yeah, just a former infantry grunt, did the regular combat deployment of the era. I am a Revolutionary War reenactor, and I'm just overall in love with history. Again, thanks for coming to the channel, giving this a watch. Thanks for subscribing, commenting, liking. Thanks for everything. It's a great time. This has turned out to be quite the passion project in my life. Until next time, take care.